In today's episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Roland Chi, and he's hailing over from the team at Technology Management Concepts. And basically, they're all about digital transformation. We really want to deep dive, what that means in daily business, who they're serving, how Roland is thinking about growth for the company, because there's exciting new growth approaches coming from the team at TMC. And we want to wrap it up with having a couple of questions about his exciting journey in business and marketing. So Roland, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, give us a 360 overview. What is TMC all about?
Sure. So TMC stands for Technology Management Concepts, and we are a Microsoft Gold partner, which means that we have been certified by Microsoft to implement and support their business solution. So this can be like their accounting solution, ERP, or sales solution like the CRM. But not only, it can be also like a marketing solution or HR solution. The Microsoft tech stack is a very complete suite of product that we implement for our clients, and all of this obviously on their cloud, which is the Microsoft Azure cloud that a lot of people are aware today. So basically we're like a Microsoft partner that guides our clients through their digital transformation, as you said, their digital transformation journey and beyond. So we help them solution their technological challenge using Microsoft technology.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. What would you say? What types of company do you typically work with? Is these large enterprises, mid-sized companies? Is there specific industries? Who is benefiting typically most from TMC?
Partner like us typically serve a diverse amount of companies, in size, in industry. But if I have to maybe picture the perfect customer that would benefit the most, from working with TMC, it would be, let me put it that way. So every company has, accounting needs and sales needs. Okay, so they need a system to manage and monitor all of this. And when you start, a lot of them just use spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel. So this can do the job for a while, and eventually you can feel the limitation. It's not integrated within the different department, and you want to upgrade your system. So this is where when TMC enters and comes into play, we basically guide our clients throughout their understanding what they're going to need in the future to sustain and support their growth, using systems that are not limiting what they can do, what they can see, and make them make better decision. In the end, is we're all about helping them streamline their operation. That's what we do. So any type of industry or company that has technology needs and feels limited by their own system right now.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And who would you say within those organizations is typically the champion that says, hey, we need a good partner. We need somebody like TMC. Is that like a head of digital? Is that like an operations manager? Or does it even come from the individual departments, the HR leader, which is all and need solutions?
So there is different approach to that. Obviously, we are very close to the operational aspect of any company because we're going to work on the specific department. So the ERP solution will be used more by the accounting department. The CRM solution will be used more by the sales department. But all of this can be integrated and create, even greater value. And that is usually requested by the higher management, even decision makers, who needs to have actually, accurate data, real-time data, to make, better decision, obviously, smart and educated decisions. So it can come from, both level. We typically talk with, the CFO or the director of sales directly, because they're the one who actually need to, who understand the day-to-day work, and that's where we actually help them the most on their day-to-day operation with our system, to save time, to save money, be more, reduce errors and things like that.
Mhm. And what would you say, how do they learn about Team C? Like, what is typically the journey that they go through from maybe not even having heard about you to actually, going into the journey of really starting to consider? In other words, what are sort of the client acquisition channels that you guys leverage?
Um, so like, in the digital world today, it's everything's happening online. So this is definitely the big change in the past, decade that we've been seeing in our, clients acquisition, prospect acquisition. It's definitely like when a prospect's talking to us, they usually are at least 70 to 80, sometimes even 95% of the their customer journey as we describe it back in the days. So it's way faster, and they need to be in, they're aware, they're way more educated when they start talking to us. So there is three main for us, I would say, source of getting in contact with us. So there is the classic word of mouth. So obviously this is the most efficient, the strongest. It's been forever, and it's still today the most efficient. So when someone's happy working with us, they talk about us, and this is how we get a lot of clients. Sometimes it's even like the CFO who was working with us in a specific company. Now they change company and they realize their system is not at the same level as the company they were working with before, and they contact us again and say, hey, I have a new project for you, I like working with you. So that's obviously the strongest one. The second one, which is less and less the case, is Microsoft sending us directly referrals. So they have an internal team of sales person who dispatch kind of the prospects towards their different partners. And finally, and maybe that's the one I kind of touch base at first, is the website. So all our SEO work and social media activities really like brings us the biggest amount, I would say, of prospect and put us out there basically. So like about 70% of our clients are coming directly from the website.
You mentioned the website there. Typically, when we have marketers on the show, they're very sort of critical with their own website. It's always an evolving piece of work, I would say. What would you say is sort of a major strength of the TMC website versus where do you personally see even room and space for improvement?
I mean, the TMC website biggest strength is definitely it's the SEO part. This is where we put most of our money, most of our time, most of our energy, because our sales process in our industry is not a day or two, is not impulsive buy purchase. It's something that is sought out, discussed with a lot of different peoples. So this is where they're going to find the information. They will be able to come back, share that information with the decision maker, and then slowly make the decision. So our website is typically a journey for them. So our strength is the content that we have on it that shows our not only our expertise, but also the way we work, our culture. So this is the part we're the proudest about. And if there was something that I could improve on it, where I think we have a little bit of margin here to increase, would be maybe having more personalization, so more customized, personalized experience based on different scenarios. And that's where AI could definitely be used here. Yes.
Makes sense. Super interesting. Very cool. I mean, what have you learned over the years? Because you've been in interesting roles. You've been working in marketing in one or the other way, pretty much for the last couple of years. What have you learned? You mentioned personalization on the website. Like, what approaches have you figured over the years when it comes to driving conversions from the website? Any approaches, any tools, any methods that you found to be helpful?
Well, I would say the approach, the methodology is basically what it's in the name, of personalization, right? That's an ongoing effort. You don't just wake up one day and say, okay, our website, our experience is going to be personalized, right? It's something that is ongoing, and as you create more resources, as you create more content, you create that in a way, in a methodology, in a strategy that allows the personalization to be either more accurate or deeper. So in my experience, the main difficulty of doing applying this strategy is to plan out all the content that you're going to need in order to create a real engaging personalization or journey that is personalized. We want to bring the customer or the prospect throughout our website, page by page. There is a path that we kind of like imagine for them, and we can be wrong, we can be half wrong, we can be mostly right. So all of this comes with test, obviously, and all depends on your audience, the level of data you have about them, and all of this takes time. Obviously, you as I said, you don't just switch with a button.
Super interesting. Maybe one last question, sort of on the field of growth and marketing, before we switch topics and learn more about your journey. I'm not sure if it's relevant in your industry. You can tell me, because in recent episodes of the Pathon Presents podcast, the cookieless future has been coming up more often, right? Third-party cookies are going to be out of the browsers by end of the year. Retargeting is going to be probably a bit more challenging. Is that a topic sort of that maybe you yourself, marketers around you already talk about? Is it more in the periphery? Maybe share what you experience.
So I've heard about it. This is definitely something that is kind of a trendy topic right now in the marketing industry. I'm not sure if this will impact that much what we're doing. I know I was talking about personalization, customization, and really creating like a unique experience for each different segments or targets, but the reality is that we can do that outside of the website too. So the website is mainly the entry point, but once we capture that information, not necessarily just through like a retargeting strategy, but downloading an ebook, subscribing to our newsletter, and things like that, that is the next step. Basically, the cookie discussion is interesting, but it's really just one level of an entire strategy. So I wouldn't, stress out as a marketer, that we are talking about free cookie-free website.
Yep. No, makes complete sense. Very cool. Yeah, then let's switch gears. I'd like to talk a little bit about your personal journey in marketing. Maybe first thing is, there is so much content out there, right, that a marketer could read. You could educate yourself with tons of blog posts, books, whatever. Like, what do you like to consume yourself and read to educate yourself further? Any sort of places that you like? How do you filter from all the noise out there?
I mean, you're completely right. There is, thousands of, resources out there, from blogs, newsletter, new books. It's forum discussions, etc. Live events. I could have a full-time job just gathering this information and trying to summarize it for someone. So as for sure, you have to have some filters. So what I like to use is a newsletter system. So I really like the Morning Brew website. So they're specialized in marketing content, and I really like how they really select the one that are interesting for you. You can really like filter out what you're not interested in and focus on what you want to read. This is really good. I receive a newsletter every morning. I try to spend about half an hour every day to read about what's out there. So Morning Brew. I also like Marketing Profs. It's a B2B marketing specialized content, and I've learned a lot of things from them. They have like a paid membership that really allows you also to have access to a different type of podcast and thought leader presenting
what was the name
new
for
concepts.
People? What was the name for
Marketing Profs. So marketing and then PROFS. This is very specific to B2B marketing, if there are some out there. And then obviously I'm trying to be part of different marketing professional groups that are specific to my industry. So this is where marketers who are evolving in the same industry are discussing issues, without competition, problems or behavior. We're really trying to be transparent in our advice and our questions. And I found out that this is one of the best way to gather information. It's from your peers who are in the same industry, and don't be afraid to ask. It's not because they're from a competition or competitors that you cannot have a discussion.
Very cool. Because potentially, because there's typically a B2B marketers listening in, the marketing profs that you mentioned, if they're curious about that, that's just marketingprofs.com, or where can they find it?
I believe it's marketingprofs.com. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very good. Yeah, let's switch gears a little bit. I have some rapid fire questions to wrap it up for today. Are you ready for those?
Sure.
What's the last book you read?
The last book. Oh, I don't really read books. Last book I read. Oh my God, the last book I've read, it was probably at the university. It was probably some marketing guru thing. I remember. I mean, my thesis was about SaaS product and how marketers can improve using this type of solution. So it's kind of outdated nowadays. Everyone already talks about it, but back then, believe me, it was pretty advanced and innovative.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. What's one? It depends a little bit on how old you are, anyways.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I
I'm just kidding. What's one single thing your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Right now, we are actually trying to grow in different level, I would say. So as I said, we sell technology to help companies to streamline their operation and be more efficient. So there is two ways we're right now trying to grow our business. The first one is expanding vertically, so focusing on bundles of solution, integrated solution that applies for specific industries. So if you're a manufacturer, you don't have the same needs as healthcare provider. So we are right now building basically packages of Microsoft solutions, third-party solution, and also custom development that we have learned from other clients, other prospects who have been in the same industry as them, and we're creating those type of packages in order to be closer to an industry need. And then the second direction we're trying to grow right now is also horizontally. So once you come in for a financial solution, we're trying to work with you to integrate the other solution that you are you needing for your business operation. So we can integrate the CRM part, we can integrate reporting, third party, etc. So adding onto your technology to really create like a strong unified system that will support your growth, basically, instead of like being reactive. We're trying to guide our current client into advancing their technology and being proactive on that.
Very, very interesting. Next question. If there would be no boundaries in tech, what's the one thing that you would fix in your role today?
No boundaries in tech. So we're in dream world. And with technology, I can do whatever. So I don't know. I would say that maybe an AI assistant, like a robot or a program that can just take my notes that I have written on my piece of paper and then, like transform that into, actionable task and put that into my calendar and tells me, okay, you need an hour and a half to perform that task. Because based on your performances in the past, based on all the data that they have, this is what you need to do this. And then why not? This robot is adaptive to me, to my level of stress. If this robot can feel that I'm more stressed this week, it's gonna adjust my task, etc. accordingly. Maybe even be like emotionally intelligent, so I don't get frustrated by it. And and why not going into my meetings that I don't want to go? Right. So yeah,
very cool.
Intelligent program for sure. As someone very intelligent, we need to do that.
And for the very last question, I actually want to ask you sort of about your journey a little bit. If we go back to the days of the University of California, right? Okay. Now you're heading out of formal education into the world of growth and marketing. What's the one advice you would give yourself for your journey?
Well, I would think the advice I would definitely give myself actually is trust yourself, like be confident. Despite having 3 masters in marketing, I was still like, not, I was still doubting myself. I was still like, not very confident in my expertise, in my knowledge. And for many years, I've been invited to podcasts just like this one, or even panel discussion. And I always refuse, because I was like, I'm going to sound silly. I don't want to be, sound ridicule, or all the excuse that you can find, basically, to not take that step forward. And in the past, like maybe 3-4 years, I've pushed, tried to push myself there, and get out of my comfort zone, and I'm getting better at it. And even if this one was a little stressful to prepare, it's always stressful to prepare somehow, even though you're talking about just what you do every day. But yeah, just trust yourself, be confident, go out there, and it's okay to have an opinion that not everyone agrees with. Confronting yourself to your peers is eventually you realize that what you think it's easy, what makes sense to you, doesn't necessarily make sense to everyone, is not that easy for everyone. And that's really when you gain the most confidence. So yeah, trust yourself, Roland.
Very good, nice. I really appreciate you took the time with us, Roland. I want to give you the very last word for today. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about TMC, what's the one thing that they should remember?
If there is only one thing they should remember, is that if they need help to start their digital transformation, they don't know where to start. They feel like their system, or getting older, is not connected. They're spending more time fixing issues, looking for the right report. This happens to many companies out there, especially right now with remote work requirement and things like that. It's fine. You just need a technology advisor, just like us, and we'll take your hand and guide you through the process, just like we've done, with hundreds of companies in the past.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathon Presents.
Thank you very much.